Hello again, it's me, Charles. I have 8 downward dog variations, so a few sort of strict variations and then a few things you can do from a downward dog into different positions. So without further ado, let's go. So I've set up in my downward dog, forming a nice V with my shoulders and the backs of my legs, pushing through my hands and pushing through my legs. It's optional to bring your heels to the floor, it just brings a more intense stretch. So I set up in my downward dog, and the first thing is a calf stretch. So what I'm going to do is place one foot in the middle, in this case my right foot, stretch my left leg up, curl it behind my calf, and then press my standing leg down, head forwards, and the more you drive the heel to the floor, the more intense a calf stretch you get. Calf stretching is important in splits, and I always forget to do it, so I definitely recommend it. The next thing is a split pulse, so again, same setup. Leg in the middle and the spare leg goes all the way up. So here, just think if you're going for a square or a turned out, just make sure you are doing one or the other with intention. So I'm going into my split and I pulse it up, 2, 3, 4. So I usually do 8 counts. If you're doing it turned out, make sure you are turned out and properly doing the pulses. So that is number 2. Number 3 is a leg kick, so this is a bit more dynamic. For this you can walk the hands in just a bit more for added stability. So, same setup, I'm going to walk my hands in a bit and then kick up. This is a good dynamic warm up for your legs. And then walk back. The next one is shamelessly stolen off Cat Clark. These are leg curls, so these are just again a great warm up. So the idea is that we're in our split, leg all the way up, and then what we're doing, we are curling the leg in towards the chest behind the other leg, and we're forming this sort of tight ball with 2 bent legs, knees coming in towards the chest, and after that we slowly unpeel the leg all the way up back to our split, and that is 1. So let's go. 1 leg in the middle, bring the other leg up to the split and curl it behind the other leg. And then bring it back up. And then curl again. If you want, you can get an added stretch when you are at the split. Push down to the ankle to get a calf stretch. And down. And up. The next one is Dolphin. So for this, instead of being on our hands, we're going to be on our forearms. This is really good prep for forearm stands. 2 versions really. You can have it with the hands together, like this, or the hands apart. Do it, I don't really think there's a right or wrong way. There's just 2 different ways of doing it, and both probably have their merits. I tend to focus on the parallel arms one, just because I find it a bit more challenging. So I go up into my downward dog, into my V, and then what I'm doing, I bring my forearms down, and then here I want to drag my chest forwards, just a little bit, and I feel it in the upper back. Pulling down on the forearms. To make it more intense, you walk the legs in, into this position. To make it less intense, you walk it back out. And again, you can push the legs down for an added calf stretch. I'm not going to demo going to forearm stand because I can't do them. The next one is a hip opener. So again, going to be in our 3-legged dog with 1 leg in the middle. And the spare leg is going to go over the other in a bent fashion. We want to think about stacking the hips together and really opening the hips.
The leg goes up in a split, and then I bend it so it's pointing behind me and turn my hips until they are stacked over each other. Really feel the side of your body opening. Keep that strength through the arms and the spare leg. Bring it down to the heel if you want an added stretch.
The penultimate one is wild thing, quite a dancery pose. So what we're going to be doing is going into our downward dog, and we'll choose a leg to go through the gap between our hands and our shoulders, and then it's going to join the other leg behind. We're then going to go onto one hand, which is the same hand as the leg that went through.
So I'm going to choose my right leg to go through. I bring it to join the other leg. I bring the leg I chose to be straight, and the other one stays bent into my wild thing, trying to get the shoulders stacked above the elbows, stacked above the wrist, arm up to the ceiling, and looking nice and pretty like this. Try to thrust the hips up as well.
The last one is downward dog to bridge. Going to full bridge is actually quite hard, so if you do want to go, if you have like a really solid bridge already and you want to try to do downward dog to bridge, make sure you get a lot of practice doing three-legged dogs and your wild things and your hip openers, and also the regression that I'm going to show on the way to the bridge, to make sure you're really happy with it. I'd also recommend that you do bridge with one hand and two legs, and also two hands, one leg, just to make sure you're really solid in that position. If you haven't done it before, work with a spotter, or if you have any questions, again, go to an instructor. So, I am going to start off in my downward dog and go into my hip opener.
From here, I bring the leg all the way down, and I've pivoted on my back leg into the straight. You see this arm? I'm in this kind of hybrid wild thing, and here I can stretch the arm back for a nice position. This is really good prep in strengthening this arm. From here, my spare arm goes above my head, I reach all the way around, and I pivot on the arm that is on the ground. I pivot and bend at the same time. Nice bit of grounding, and come to my bridge. And you can either come back out like this, leg head tucked, or if you want smashing bridges, you can come back out that way, back to your downward dog.
And assuming you can do that on both sides, you can do downward dog, bridge, downward dog, bridge, downward dog in a complete loop, and that is called an exorcist circle, so good for Halloween performances. So there you have it, 8 downward dog variations. I hope you like them. The first sort of 4 ones really, they're just good prep for splits, and it's good to incorporate in your routine, and the last few ones are good prep for downward dog to bridge, or just doing a bit of movement within your downward dog. So enjoy.